As my Cuban grandfather was fond of saying, en boca cerrada no entran moscas. For the uninitiated, that translates, the closed mouth provides no entry for flies. Now, I want to thank Tina, and I want to thank the trustees of the Institute for this recognition. And special thanks again to Frank, who not only served as one of our ablest leaders, but who was the first to really engage my interest in the Institute, its research, and its commissions nearly 20 years ago. I also owe a debt of gratitude to the many who have come before me, from Harold Burson to Jim Grunig to Marilyn Lowry, who was in one of the pictures with Frank, Marjorie Krause and Bill Nielsen, who've served as informal mentors to me and showed many of us in this profession a better way. And I owe my career to the 10 CEOs and 1 US Senator that permitted me to practice my craft, the best of whom were not only good leaders, but great listeners. And as I humbly accept your honor this evening, in my mind there is no greater honor than having been married to my wife, Pat, who is here, for more than 30 years. You know, there's a line from the movies where they say the good partner completes you. I know that a great partner makes you better than you could have ever been alone. My most valued awards are actually my 4 very accomplished children. In many ways, they eclipse me. They are all smart, engaged, independent thinkers, putting their own mark on the world, and I am extremely thankful for how each of them actually have shaped me. That said, the most important thank you really goes to the incredibly talented and industrious men and women who I've had the honor to work with through the many years, whether it was on Capitol Hill, at Kodak, US West, Cigna, ConAgra Foods, State Farm, and now my colleagues at Cargill. They have made me appear much more productive and much smarter than I truly am. I'm proud of several of them. It's already been said that many of them went on to become chief communications officers and chief marketing officers. Some of you know some of those names: David Beige, Barry Caldwell, Jonathan Freed, who's here this evening, Denise Hill, Bob Kula, Bill Myers, Emilio Pardo, Teresa Paulson, Marty Smith. In short, this moment is as much theirs as it is mine, and can be best expressed as a work in progress. I have to be clear, I am overwhelmed by this moment. Receiving an award for one's lifetime achievement, when I still think there's still a million things to get done. You know, it's both daunting and distressing, and on top of that, this honor is named for Alexander Hamilton. And Alexander Hamilton was a lieutenant colonel in General George Washington's army. He was a delegate to the Constitutional Convention. He founded the Bank of New York, the New York Post, the US Coast Guard. He serves as the nation's first Treasury Secretary. And important to this assemblage this evening, he wrote 51 of the 85 opinion pieces, which were part of the nation's first successful PR campaign that we all know now as the Federalist Papers. Those accomplishments are awe-inspiring enough, but when you think about it, Alexander Hamilton, when he was my age, he had been dead for more than a decade. The other day, my wife and I went to see Lin-Manuel Miranda's Hamilton the Musical. I gotta tell you, it's dynamic, dramatic, and very different. And I loved every minute of it, and I would recommend it to all of you. The staccato rhythms of the hip-hop merged with an incredibly diverse cast, where blacks and Latinos play many of our forefathers, reinforces the fact, counter to what some in American politics might portray today, that we are a nation of humble beginnings, and immigrants and that those forefathers made America great not by revering the past or simply protecting against the risks of the future. They did so by engaging in creating that future. Rather than accepting the status quo or running from a crisis or saying no comment, Hamilton found his peace in the eye of the storm, applying his skills and words to a world he helped turn upside down. Aaron Burr, Hamilton's nemesis throughout the play and in real life, would warn Alexander to speak less, smile more. But that was not Hamilton's way, nor should it ever be our own. In my mind, this is a great time to be in this profession. It's a great time to be in public relations. Our skills and talents are needed and being called on more than ever. In recent years, we have wrestled as a profession with our own identity and direction as the rhythms of our own industry became increasingly syncopated by the tapping of keys on mobile devices in a world that is always on. In the words of my favorite philosopher, and I think Gary's as well, former New York Yankee baseball great Yogi Berra, the future ain't what it used to be. Not only will the world never be the same, the pace of change will never be slower. I know some in our industry debate our fate. PR Week's April issue posed the question, is the chief communications officer going the way of the dodo? Some see the multi-channel world we operate in and see the two worlds of marketing and public relations as coming together. Richard Edelman coined the term communications marketing. Still others see one function being subsumed by the other. Last year, Arthur W. Page Society began an exploration into the future of the CCO. In initial conversations, lots of the participants talked about how technology is changing what we do. Others spoke of the power of thought leadership and content marketing. Others still mentioned big data, measurement, even neuroscience. And virtually everyone said they were shifting dollars into storytelling and social media. But when the cacophony of voices cleared, Harold Burson reminded us that technology has always changed and that we have always told stories. He said that we were too focused on the tools and not what was being changed by them. The real revolution you see is not to be found in the tools we use to communicate. It's that to succeed, we need to do more than communicate. We need to step up and take our shots when asked to solve problems, to build relationships that matter, and truly engage.